Autism traits that should not count as autism. Number one, anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression are separate from each other, and they are separate from autism. Anxiety and depression, they probably come from some crappy situation in the past or a crappy situation that you're currently going through. You probably did something to somebody, and now the demons are harassing you over it. You probably did something, or somebody did something to you in the past, and the demons are harassing you over it. You can get anxiety and depression from anyone, anything, any situation, any situation. You can get it from yourself, but you cannot get it from your autism. People sitting here making autism and schizophrenia bigger than it actually is. I say this as somebody who is formerly autistic, like who was once autistic, but who was once autistic and who is guilty of making autism bigger than it already is. Like went from former autistic to a neurotypical with trauma. So yeah. Number two, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance stems from trauma. Oh God. I'm sorry. Okay. Cognitive dissonance stems from trauma, not from autism. Okay. Like being all up in your head and laughing out of nowhere. No, that's gotta come from something. Okay. Look up what's your favorite trauma response due to narc abuse, and look up information on narcissists and how they abuse you and stuff. Because me personally, like, here's the thing about me and my mom. Whenever me and my mom go at it, I'm always the one apologizing. I'm the one always taking accountability for her actions. And it makes me mad thinking about it. But I'm not allowed to feel angry. So I bottle up my emotions and it just comes out as humming. Like, whenever me and my mom go at it, and my mom is always the winner in the situation, to the point where not only that she refuses to take accountability of her actions, but people refuse to hold her accountable for her actions. It just makes me so angry, to the point where it's like, when I'm angry, it's going to come out one way or another. If I can't talk to you like an adult and say, I don't appreciate it when you, without you being angry at me and lashing out at me, lashing out at me for even being visibly angry, it's gonna come out. I'm gonna hum. Okay, I don't have any safe space to let it out. When I need to vent, I'm gonna hum. And it does not make it any better when you tell me, get out of your head. I'm not even allowed to even express these emotions to the person telling me to get it out of my head. Right now, I'm trying to heal from that. I'm trying to write it down, heal this inner child in me, heal this. So yeah. Okay. So I be so used to not being heard, not having my side of the story heard, having my feelings dismissed, and always being accused of assuming, to the point where it's like I just hum. Because ain't like whenever I'm the problem, it happened. But whenever my mom is the problem, it's in my head. It's all schizophrenia. It's all autism. It's all in my head. And and then she just tells me, just forget it, forgive it, and forget it. To the point where I be so used to forgetting, to the point where I don't even remember most of my childhood. My relatives know my childhood more than I do. I don't remember most of it. Okay? But whenever I do remember a childhood memory, I remember the bad parts of it. That's not normal. So going back to to tolerating family members that I can't get along with, to the point where I don't remember my childhood. Even though those are the origins of the cognitive dissonance, I take accountability for even letting myself be manipulated. So, number 3, social cluelessness. Social cluelessness. Social cluelessness stems from always being told that you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what you're doing, to the point where you don't know what you're talking about, what you're saying, what you're doing. Every time you suspect that every time you figure it out, once you find out that somebody is obviously toxic, but you have trust issues, so you seek external validation, and then they start confusing you with, but how do you know that? People confusing you, trying to tell you you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you don't need to help them with this, you'll get in my way. You don't need to help them with that, you'll get in my way. Like, people manipulating you into confusing yourself over everything you do, to the point where you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what you're doing. Like, that's a trauma response. That's a trauma response. Like, let me tell you something. If you know anybody, like, let me tell you something. If you know anybody, the person who uses these phrases on you the most are the ones you need to cut off. People who be manipulating you into not trusting yourself, you need to cut them off, because these people don't want you to make your own decisions. These people don't want you to have an opinion and to have a mind of your own. Okay? The people who likes to use the term autism, schizophrenic, or whatever disorder to not take accountability of their actions, you need to cut them off. So that's all I'm going to say. Anybody because the thing is like this. If you are autistic, schizophrenic, or whatever, just know that you are more than autistic, schizophrenic, or whatever disorder you have. Okay? And I say this as somebody who did act to a certain degree the opposite when I've had autism and schizophrenic, specifically towards myself. But either way, you discriminate against, because I was so used to, like, I take accountability of letting that get to me. It was like, it stems from being so used to having autism and schizophrenic used as like a badge of honor, to the point where I start thinking it's all I am. I'm nothing but that. Okay, I've been like that, or I won't say. Well, it also happened when I was like neurotypical. I know. Neurotypical part was unintentional. The autistic part, it was still unintentional. But yeah. So as somebody who's been like that to a certain degree in the autism and the neurotypical side. So remember that you are more than your disorder, disability, okay? Don't let nobody use it to define you. Okay, and as somebody who's guilty of what I'm about to say, like, here's the thing. People sitting here making autism bigger than it actually is. No, okay? No, everything you do is not autistic. Everything you do is not schizophrenic. It is not your fault. Okay? It is not your fault. Everything that happens to you, like, it's not always in your head. Because people saying, like, oh, it's all in your head. Like, let me tell you something. That's manipulation. Okay? My mom uses this on me and says, like, whenever I'm the problem, it happened. But whenever my mom's the problem, it's all in my head. She is completely perfect and she has never done her or anybody any wrong in her life. She can't even name what she did wrong. All she could say is, yes, I've been the person who was wrong. I had been wrong before. But she can't even name what she did wrong. First, remember, some people are just using disorder labels as an excuse not to take accountability for their actions. My mom did that to me. My mom did that to me. My roommates are gonna do that to me real soon. I can hear the laughing in there. I can hear the cockiness. But yeah. God bless.